Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Desi TV USA. I am Tabinda Gul. Let's take a look at the headlines. Trump says US-China trade talk active, promises fair deal. Massive wildfire in New Jersey threatened to become state's largest in 20 years. India downgrades tied with Pakistan following Kashmir attack on tourists. Trump-Zelensky clash over Crimea in ongoing Ukraine war talk. 6.2 magnitude earthquake jolts western Turkey, causes panic in Istanbul. Resident evacuated as wildfire threatened Mezalet zone in central Israel. US, Ukraine, Europe hold peace talk in London amid Rubio's cancelled visit. Rosary prayer service held for Pope Francis at Santa Maria Maggiore. AI revolution, Huawei's AI chips and humanoid robots take center stage. 26 killed in brutal Kashmir attack, survivor describe horror. Superior College Kamalia hosts annual program at Mukhtar Palace. These are headlines, lead to news detail. Now the top story is here. President Donald Trump stated that the US is still actively engaged in trade talks with China and assured that any agreement will be a fair deal for America. His commitment followed report that the White House is considering lowering tariffs on Chinese import to reduce tension. A source familiar with the discussion said officials are exploring options to ease some of the trade barriers imposed during earlier disputes. President Donald Trump emphasized that any move will protect American interests, highlighting fairness and economic balance as key goals of the ongoing negotiation. A fast-spreading wildfire in New Jersey's Pinelands has scorched approximately 12,500 acres, raising fears it could become the largest the state has seen in 2 decades. The blaze is burning near popular Atlantic Ocean's beach town, prompting warnings and heightening response efforts from local fire crews. Officials are working around the clock to contain the fire, which has been fueled by dry conditions and strong winds. No major injuries or property damage have been reported yet, but nearby residents are being urged to stay alert. Firefighters remain on high alert as the situations continue to evolve. India has announced a series of measures of downgrade diplomatic and economic ties with Pakistan after a deadly attack on tourists in the Kashmir region. The government condemned the incident, calling it a cowardly act of terror and blaming elements operating from across the border. In response, New Delhi has suspended several bilateral engagements and it's reviewing trade and visa policies concerning Pakistan. Officials said these steps reflect India's firm stance against cross-border terrorism and its commitment to protecting civilians. Tension between the two neighbors remain high as international call for restraint grow. US President Donald Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky clash once again during discussions aimed at ending the ongoing 3 years war in Ukraine. The disagreement centered on Crimea, with President Trump criticizing Zelensky for his firm refusal to recognize Russia's occupations of the region. Zelensky maintained that Ukraine will never accept the annexations of Crimea, calling it a clear violation of international law. Trump, however, urged flexibility to move peace talk forward, sparking renewed tension between the two leaders. The standoff underscores the complex challenges in resolving the conflict.
Neurological care is a pressing healthcare challenge in Pakistan. That's why Helping Hand USA is building Kind R, a world-class hospital with 130 plus clinics that is set to establish new standards for neurological care in Pakistan. As the first phase nears completion, anticipation is growing for the launch in the second half of 2025. Give zakat and sadaqah through Helping Hand USA today and join this historic endeavor to redefine future healthcare in Pakistan.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck parts of western Turkey, prompting widespread panic but causing no major structural damage or critical injuries. According to officials, the tremor was strongly felt in Istanbul, where frightening residents rushed into the street. Over 150 people were injured, most of them suffering from falls or jumping out of buildings in fear. Emergency team responding swiftly and authorities urged the public to remain calm but vigilant. The quake's epicenter was located in a sparsely populated area, helping to limit its overall impact. A fast-moving wildfire forces the evacuation of residents from the community of Mezalet Zion in central Israel. Among those fleeing the area were women carrying children as thick smoke and advancing flames near home. Fire crews work urgently to control the blaze and prevent it from reaching residences areas. Dry conditions and shifting winds have complicated containment effort. Authorities are urging people in nearby communities to stay alert and be ready to evacuate if needed. No injuries or property losses have been reported so far. US, Ukraine, and European officials held what were described as substantive meeting in London in an effort to revive stalled peace talk over the war in Ukraine. The talks comes after US Secretary of State Marco Rubio unexpectedly cancels his planned trip, sparking speculations about the pace and directions of negotiation. Despite Rubio's absence, diplomats said discussions were focused and constructive with all sides reaffirming their commitment to a peaceful resolution. However, concern remain over whether real progress is being made as the conflict drags into its fourth year. A solemn rosary prayer service was held at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome for Pope Francis ahead of his planned burial at the historic site. Faithful from around the world gathered to honor the Pope, offering prayers and tributes in a deeply spiritual ceremony. The Basilica, one of the oldest and most significant churches dedicated to the Virgin Mary, will serve as Pope Francis' final resting place. Church leader led the services, reflecting on his legacy of humility, compassion, and tireless work for peace and justice. This week marks significant advancement in the AI revolution, with Huawei announcing plans to begin mass shipments of its cutting-edge AI chips to Chinese customers. The move is expected to boost the tech giant's positions in the global AI market, providing powerful processors to industries relying on advanced artificial intelligence. In a related development, humanoid robots made headlines by successfully completing a half marathon, showcasing the growing capabilities of AI-driven robotics. These milestones reflect the rapid progress in artificial intelligence as companies and innovators push the boundaries of what AI can achieve in both the tech and physical worlds. A brutal terror attack unfolded in Kashmir meadow Pahalgam as gunmen opened fire on tourists, leaving at least 26 people dead and 17 others injured. The victim included a newlywed couple from Jaipur and retired tourists. The attacker targeted their victims in front of their families, turning a once serene tourist spot into a scene of unimaginable horror. Survivors described the terrifying moment as gunmen indiscriminately shot at the crowd, sparking panic and chaos. One woman recounted the heartbreaking moment when her husband was shot in the head. While the attackers threatened others to remain silent, the attack shocked the entire region, with many struggling to comprehend the scale of the violence. Authorities have attributed the attack of the Pakistan-based militant group Kashmir residents. In response, India government condemned the assault, pledging swift justice for the victim. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed to strengthen efforts against terrorism in the region. The attack has also shattered the hope of revitalizing Kashmir's tourism industries, which has seen recent growth despite ongoing tension. This tragedy highlights the continued volatility and insecurity in the region, leaving both locals and tourists in fear. Indian Superior College Kamalia held its annual program at Mukhtar Palace, attended by Chief Guest Rizwan Ahmad Chaudhry, Chaudhry Kamran Ahmad Nusrat, and Sardar Tariq Gujjar. The event gathered college staff, professors, and students to celebrate academic achievements and talent. College Director Imran Siddiqui welcomed the guests, who later distributed shields to outstanding professors and students. The program featured speeches and cultural performances, highlighting the college commitment to quality education and student development. Guests praised the institution's efforts and encouraged students to continue striving for excellence in both academic and co-curricular activities. So thank you for watching and thank you for supporting. This is me, Tabinda, signing off. Stay tuned for more news. DCTV USA, DTVN, and our OTT platform, DTV Flex, where you can access to over 3,000 channels. So stay tuned and stay with us.
You came to this country for a brighter future for you and your loved ones. You've made it this far. Now it's time to become a citizen. With Citizenship, you gain the right to vote, access to federal jobs, the ability to keep your family closer, and and the freedom to travel with a U.S. passport. These are just a few of the benefits waiting for you when you become eligible. We're here to help you through the process with free resources and personalized guidance. Together, we can make it easier. Get started at becomeacitizentoday.com.